So if it's a smaller group, if you have a project you're working on and you want, I can help you more individually in a smaller group, or I can just show you what I do and you can see what questions you have.
I didn't vote. I just wanted to listen
You
in.
non-voter.
I don't even have those programs installed, to be honest. I just wanted first
You want?
I
intro.
don't either.
Okay. You know, what I do? That's fine.
So,
Have you ever used any of the ones I mentioned before?
No.
Oh, well, then I can show you all sorts of cool stuff. Maybe, depending on for what you want to do. Hey, Charlene's coming in. Awesome. So we'll just let me figure out what I can do with the screen share. Make sure there's, and then I can show you what the programs are and you can decide what you want. They all have free functionality. You can use them pretty much free indefinitely. There is paid stuff that may or may not be useful for you for what you're wanting to do, but I think for the most part, the free stuff is probably more than sufficient, unless you get into something really specific that you want. So I will get those opened up while everybody comes in. Hi, Charlene. Let's see. What should we start with? Let's start with CapCut. I'm gonna open that up. All right. So what I have open for you, if other people come in, we can do whatever. This is called CapCut. And when you load CapCut, this is just your home screen. And you have all these projects, which it'll keep a running tab of those pretty much going way back in time. The default is date. So I worked on this one September 8th. This one was December 2nd, whatever. I'm going to show you an example of what CapCut can do. Or maybe, you know what? Maybe we'll just make a new project so you can see it from scratch. All right. And then it'll open up the project window. So John and Jen don't know what this is. Do you know? Have you ever used CapCut, Charlene?
Yeah, I've used it before. It's been a
Okay.
long time though.
Yeah. Well, I guess like for each of you, what are you interested in when it comes to like audio stuff? Are you making recordings? Are you getting social media posts? Or just doing business website stuff? Why would you want to know what these are? That way I can gear the what I tell you about them.
is
Um, Go ahead,
yeah,
John.
Anybody, everybody.
yeah, please.
Oh, um, okay. I'm interested in making audios, good audios.
All right. So, okay, hypnosis tracks.
Hypnosis or YouTube's that's just vocal. But I kind of wonder about maybe going back and on camera. So maybe CapCut too, just a refresher.
Okay. Think about it. So when it comes to video recordings, I typically use Zoom,
Okay.
right? Like even if you record, you make like a thing, and if you're just doing a presentation or we were talking about and you wanted your face to talk about it, I just start a Zoom thing and hit record, even if nobody else is in the room, it's just you, and it'll do this, right? Because then you can do backgrounds, you can do whatever else you want with it. So Zoom record, it gets the audio and the video, and you get like an M4 out of it when you download it. So if you want face, I'm using Zoom for that. Hi, Jorg.
Hi, Nate.
Just audio recordings, or if you want to split the tracks between like your and audio recordings, CapCut's really helpful for that. So I'll show you how to do that in a minute.
Is this the tool that you can use for what's it called? Sound from one side and then from the other side.
That is Reaper, which I posted in the event group how to download and get that, and I'll show you that next. So if I'm using a vocal track, I start recording in CapCut and get it all dialed in, and then move it into Reaper to do that kind of spatial processing, which I'll show you how to do in just a minute. All right, so that's like step one is CapCut, and the reason why I'll show you why I start with CapCut. It's a lot of AI tools and a lot of automation stuff that saves you a lot of time in Reaper, and then Reaper's for like those on spatial or adding other elements. Reaper's really good for that part. Does that make sense?
Yeah, sounds great.
What about you, Jen? Anything in particular project-wise you have in mind?
Probably some videos, maybe hypnosis, and then I'm curious about the CapCut stuff too for videos.
Cool. I'll show you how to. We'll do the videos and audio in CapCut first. Even though I typically use Zoom for that, it's CapCut's just fine. Zoom has the ability to do like the background and stuff. And so I have a green screen that I can set up, but most of the time I just drape it over my chair because the rest of my room doesn't interfere that much. And so as long as you don't move around too much or whatever, sometimes you get some Zoom. You can set up a green screen and tell it you have a green screen, and then all that disappears, and it's just a little more dialed in. So if you're doing meditation tracks, you can look like you're on a mountaintop or whatever the hell you want. Hey Jorg, thanks for coming. Okay? So I'm gonna go through the record bit first. Media, voice. Let's say you had a video file. Let's say you made something in Zoom, right? You can then save it as whatever. Let me find something that I've recorded in the past. What is this? I don't know what this is. I don't know what that is. An hour and 9 minutes, whatever. So I'll dump it in here. Okay. Now, this is me teaching something. I don't remember what. All right, so you just load it. So you can import it and you can find the file manually, or if you find it on your desktop or wherever you stored it, you can just drag and drop it, and then Capcut has it right here. And then for tracks, all your tracks for stuff is down here. So you just drag it, drop it, and then here you go. All right, and so then you can move stuff around and see whatever's going on the videos. So extract audio. So if when you right click, so I have this thing. Hi Daniela. Just started with Capcut. I dropped a video in the thing, and we're going to show you how to process it. So let's say you recorded something on Zoom or your phone or whatever. You just drop the file in here on Capcut. You right click. You can do a bunch of stuff. So you can extract audio, which will give us the audio track separately. You can isolate the voice if you have background stuff or music and you want it out of there. You can either isolate it and remove the vocals. Your vocals, you would then have your background music or whatever was playing while you recorded, or keep vocals, and it removes everything else. Transcript we'll get to in just a second because that is super, super. You can split stuff out. And as you can see, these say free. The only thing that's a paid pro function right now is extract audio. So I like to do, and why I like to use Capcut so much for this is this transcript function, right? Which is free. It has trouble, or it will give you some error where it doesn't want to do it. Some for more than 15-minute clips. So then you would just create an point at 15 minutes and then just do them individually. But for whatever reason, I think transcript will do the full thing because this is an hour and 9 minutes of whatever I dropped in there. And then it just takes it a minute and it'll transcribe it. And I'll show you why that's super cool and helpful in a moment. It says it is taking a second to recognize what's going on. So, and while it's doing that, let's just create some other voiceover. So I'm going to record while it's doing that. So choose your microphone, which I'm going to use my Yeti. You can test it. So right now it's not recording, but it's showing you whether it's overranging. So I'm actually going to drop the volume until it's, because if it's overranging and in the red like that, might pop or click or something. So you kind of in the green where you normally talk, or what your range of talking will be. And right now it looks like this is a good spot. Right out the gate, you can hit enhance voice, echo reduction. That'll just save you time in post-processing later. So now I'll just record a clip. It does a little countdown. And then from here, it's just going to record, and it's showing you what you're recording over if there's a background track running. And then you stop it. It does its application, voice enhanced. Cool. And so for that short piece, we're going to zoom way, way, way. It created this right here. This is what I just said, and it's overlaying wherever you want if you have a video. So this is the audio track I just recorded, and then this is the video, which still working on. So we'll let them finish that. Actually, you know what? We'll do it. This will be about 1,000,000 times faster. We'll just do the one I just said. So it's not trying to do an hour of video. Okay. So it shows you over here what I said. All right. If you click on a word, you see that white line. It shows you exactly when I said it, which is pretty cool. All right. Remove words is a really great function, especially if you're talking and which I do what I'm thinking. You can hit identify filler words, remove them. I didn't really say any for that short clip, but it would just drop those. So let's say I just don't like this word or I want to rephrase it. I just delete it. Gone. And then down here where I hit delete, drag this white line is like, what it did is it created a splice. Do you see it? It just deleted that word altogether and then squished the audio track back together. So if I played it, it would just like it never existed. All right. And then if it sounds weird, because if you remove certain words, like the changes between them, especially if you remove like a whole sentence or paragraph, which you can easily do with just highlighting and deleting stuff, especially if you're recording and you're like, oh, I don't like the way they said that. You, without having to stop recording, you can just repeat what way you wanted it. And then with this transcript, delete it, and then it just disappears, which is cool. Oh, cool. It finally got done doing the whole other hour track. And you can see here, if you watch what I'm doing, there's these timestamps like that too. If you paused or if there's some period of time in between, it'll timestamp them so you know what that pause is. So you can just click that and delete the pause, and then it'll squish your tracks back together. It shows you where they're one lined of what you removed, and it tells you 764 filler words identified. Remove. And then they're all gone, even if you've been talking for an hour. Boom, cleaned up, done. Now, at an hour, sometimes it does pick up stuff that you may not want to remove, so be judicious when you press that. But you can also, I think, undo it. You're just like, okay, back. And then it's all back. No big deal. Which I just Control Z. If you hit Control Z, it undoes it, or you can tell it to do it up here. Okay. So just removing stuff so that when you're recording, you don't have to stop, pause, reset, repeat. Just take a pause, say it the way you wanted, and continue on. And then you can just come in this transcript mode and then delete that. I don't like that, whatever reason. And then it's gone. I'm just going to delete this whole thing. And because I hit delete right there, it spliced it. So it removed everything up to that point when I hit delete. Okay, they're still very long. What do I need to do? You click on this track, and let's say like the 5 minutes isn't great, so I can just drag this and end off. What else can I show you I can do with this thing? If you delete something, and like I said, the tonality between like how track is different. Let's say you started talking louder because you reset yourself or something, and that one's weird. This white line is your volume. The horizontal white line is your volume. So you can increase volume in decibels by dragging, or if you want it more fine tuned and you know I want it like a louder, then you can do it up here and just click until it hits. This little white dot is your in and out. Right. So if I do this, the audio will start low and get slowly louder. And for like a track, you know, or two on either side of it may be helpful so that it feels like an easier dip of a transition. So it's not so jarring. Kill the video file. So now I don't have any video. I just have this audio track that I was playing. And just on your computer, you can sort of have it. We're going to drag it to the beginning. So it starts at time 0. And there we go. Any questions so far? It's just audio playing with Capcut. This is why I use Capcut. It makes the transcript. It allows for quick editing, splicing, moving stuff around. You know what? I'd actually want to do some muscle relaxation talk. I'm going to move this out here. I'm going to go to timestamp there, record whatever I want. Whenever that's done, I can just drop this and stick it right back on the end.
Dot thing is so cool. Also, the removal of filler words. And you said the dot is for raising the volume gradually, I think.
This dot right here, let me zoom
Yeah.
back in, is your volume. So if you need it to be louder or quieter, you can adjust it with this or just by dragging it. If you press play, it'll keep playing, and then you can play with this until it sounds right. All right, play with it up here. You see, as I move it, those numbers up here move. Yeah. So it's just your decibels. The dot is the fade in and out. So it's not like such a jarring transition between one word and the next if you splice. And if you see what I did right here, let's zoom it in a little bit. That's the way it is, but you see this kind of area That's where I drug this thing, right? So that's the fade in, fade out. So this one would fade out over a course of like half point 1 seconds there. And then you zoom in and out here. So if you want a different time scale, and then it fades back in over 0.1 seconds over here, right? So you can hear what that sounds like. Oh, so you click is wherever it starts when you hit play, and that's how you can check that it sounds right. All right. The question so far. So the dot is the fade in and out, which if you click it, you can also control up here, and you can see it move down on the screen. So whichever you want to do it on the track itself or on up here with the slider, whichever way, it doesn't matter, right? 0.6, 0.1. You just want it to sound like it's a good transition between the two. Other up here, you got reduce noise, isolate voice. Like I said, if there was some background dogs barking or something, you can isolate that out. Reduce like static or popping and things. You just click these. And then actually, if you want the whole thing done, you have to highlight it. Otherwise, it'll just do whatever you clicked on for noise reduction or whatever. And let's say you don't want your face on it. You're just going to make a YouTube thing. YouTube doesn't let you drop pure audio onto it. It has to have an MP4. It has to have some sort of video component. So you can drop a blank screen. What I usually do is just find some image, like your brand, whatever you want, and then just drop it and then make it match the length of your audio. So when you export an MP4, this is just your background thing and it looks like a video, and all you're getting is your audio track, really. Or you can make it blank, but I suggest you put some sort of brand thing on it. That way people know that it's something's happening.
I was making videos that looped before. Is there a way to do that in here, or
making videos that looped, like
After.
tracks looping?
Yeah.
What I do is I'd find whatever segment that you want to loop. Let's say I'm happy with all of this. I just want it to repeat. Control, copy, or like right copy. Click here, paste, paste. And you can do that indefinitely, right? That's one way to do it. Probably the fastest way to do it. Especially because like the part may not match the end part as you're bringing people in or closing people out, and the middle 30 minutes will be whatever. Then you just splice and connect just those parts that you want, right? And the more you copy, the more it pastes. So you just, and because I didn't jump forward, it created parallel tracks. And you can have, as far as I know, a ridiculous amount of these. So if you didn't want to use Reaper and you were kind of like, I like, background or whatever, you can bring that file in, drop it, and then just put it parallel to whatever it is that you're working on. Just made a bunch of those by accident. Instead, I want them here. So whatever. Does everybody know what I mean by like parallel? When it exports it, it's going to sound like one file. It's going to be one file. It'll be like, oh, he was talking and there was birds in the background or Tibetan bells or some crap. You put those in parallel tracks alongside whatever it is you want to hear, which...
You paused screen sharing.
Did I? Let me fix that. Thanks for letting me know. Portion of screen share. All right. Thanks for letting me know, because I was just going to like talk to you. You guys are like, what the hell are you talking about? Okay. Can you see what I'm doing now? Okay, so what I did is I opened a track. This is like Tibetan bells. You can click on it. It'll tell you what it is, or start playing it so you know what it is. And so what I did was I took that and dragged it parallel to wherever I want it. Cut it to whatever length you want. And so now it's going to do that while I talk over if there's a background track running. Down, right? And that's what you layer tracks in Capcut, at least, if you want to do it that way. If you have any plans for like spatial or different things, I suggest you do all of this in Reaper. What you use Capcut for is this transcript part, the splicing, the editing, and getting like your whatever you want dialed in. Remove the background noise, use the transcript editor to remove filler words, whatever you want. And then when you get done with it, let's say I just want an audio track for now. So now the image is gone. So now all I have is audio. Come to export. And this is where you can name it. Say test one, whatever. This is where it's going to drop it, which I don't want it to drop it there. So we're going to drop it in downloads. That's fine. So this isn't a video file. I just took the image out. So don't uncheck that. It is an audio file, so we want to check that. MP3 is fine for the most part for whatever you're working on. I typically like to work with WAV files. Just they hold more data. They're easier to play with processing. Depends on what you're doing. If this is going immediately to social media or YouTube from here, MP3 or MP4 is perfectly fine. So doesn't matter. I wouldn't worry about these flawless audio channels, or just WAV or MP3 is usually enough for any program you would open them with to understand and be able to open them. So you got that format. Don't care about the rest of this. Oh, there was something else. The other good thing, Capcut is good if you wanted captions for social media. All right. Let's highlight what we want to caption and come up here and hit the captions button. English, whatever. Let AI figure out whatever it wants to do for that. Generate. And you can change like it is, what the words look like, if there's a background with them, whatever. And then it, like, as you talk, it'll caption it, right? So if you're doing like short media things, people could do that because they don't always have their audio on. So if you wanted that, CapCut's really good for shoving in captions. You can edit those, choose where they want them, right? Like, so you scroll, it'll show you what the captions are. And it'll show you what it's captioning over here and what it's not, right? Because this one decided that not to do that, for whatever reason. You can, like, depending on video, say you didn't want to cover your face, you can put these here. You can make it smaller, bigger. Like, you do it right here on this thing. Cool. Captions done. But if you have captions, it's now a video file. If you don't save it as a video file, the captions are gone. It'll just be the audio. So when you come to export, I just have audio clicked. So it's only going to save a WAV file, which is audio only. If you want the captions or imagery, hit video. I usually don't save anything less than 1080p because that's crap resolution below that. Most people want at least 1080 to see things clearly. Anything that you'll probably be working on, 2K is way too much data. It's too big of a file. Don't mess with it. 1080p is perfect. And that's it. And 30 frames per second is probably fine for anything you're going to be doing. We don't do fast-paced action, shooty, grabby movies, which if you do, maybe increase the frame rate. But just you talking on screen, 30 frames per second is perfectly fine. I don't want captions, so I'm going to turn that back off and we'll say test one. And then you just hit export and it'll go wherever it is you told it to. It says it's done. Audio file over. All right. And that's CapCut in a nutshell. I'll come back to this later if we get to the YouTube part. But now I have a WAV file to play with. So I'm going to close CapCut. And I'm going to open Reaper, which in the event I posted the details on how to get Reaper and download it. It's really easy. It seems like a lot. Just follow the steps and then you'll get it. So let me get Reaper on the screen. Reaper is what I use for all of my really fun audio processing stuff. It doesn't do video anything. Right? This is just for sound tests. All right. So I'm going to delete this one. So we have an unsaved project and everything's here. Let's open, or let's insert the track that we just made. Oops. We want a media file because that's what we just made. I told it to go under downloads. There, CapCut test one, open. That wasn't at time 0 when I imported it, so it shoved it someplace weird way over there. Take it to time 0, and now we can open. So this is what CapCut made a minute ago. We had Tibetan bells, we had me talking, and it shows you that there's a left and right audio track on it already. Because parallel, when you see these like little and they look the same, that means that left and right channels are going to be kind of the same thing. It's not going to seem three-dimensional. It's just stereo. Down. And from here, it's just going to, and it's showing you what you're recording over. if there's a background. And you saw me just drag the master track volume button. From here, it's just going to, it's showing you what you're recording. If you get red, see like red, this is the individual channel and this is the master channel. If you get red, that means if you render it, like make a file, it's going to have popping because it's over ranging. There's a background track running. This one doesn't matter. The master one does. Recording over if there's a background track running. Okay. So this is the Reaper. From Reaper, instead of putting, so now like the bells are on this thing, I can't separate those back out. I'd have to go to Capcut, remove the Tibetan bells, and just bring in just my voice if I wanted to do that. If I'm happy with the way it is, it's fine that this is one track. But I can't make the bells and the voice do separate things if it's on one track here in Reaper. Okay, so I want the Tibetan bells quiet and off to the left somewhere. If it's only one track here, I can't do that. Okay. Instead, open a new file. Let's see. Open a new file. I'm going to find wherever my Tibetan bells were. Somewhere in the ether of whatever I do. Tibetan bells. Grab a random one. See if it'll open it. Building piece. So it layered it on top of it, which I don't want. So just like Capcut, I'm going to put it in parallel. So I'm just going to make a new line here. And now there's another layer, just like in Capcut, it's going to play it in parallel. Things you can do if you get all the plugins. All sorts of super cool stuff. And I have about 1 million plugins that you don't need. For pretty much anything you're going to do. There's only a handful that you probably want. And I'll show you what those are. So don't mind this for a half second. Once you build something the way you want in Reaper, like let's say, hey, I like these plugins and this is how I like the frame stuff. You can save that and it just creates a thing. All right. And so when you open your saved thing, it's like, oh, here's the plugins that you typically use. And they're already set to whatever you typically use them. There's more I use that I will add individually, which is Deer VR Pro 2. Okay. Which I'm happy to show you these. I'm going to show you what each one of these does. Cool. Now I loaded it on that. I'm going to load it on this one too. All right, because each track needs to have its own plugins. Okay, so they have the same FX chain. They both have Deer Pro 2. All right. And also, I know I went fast there, but I'm going to show you what each one of these are now. All right. So this track was whatever I recorded in Capcut. This is the Tibetan bells I brought in a minute ago. So where you can name that if you want. If you are getting a bunch of tracks, I suggest you name them just so you know what they are. And nobody cares if you don't spell them correctly. This is just your own tracking. All right. So you're like, I got bells. I got whatever came from Capcut. Cool. If you press play, and then from here, it's just going to, it's showing you what you're recording over. And now it sounds weird and echoey because I jumped in whatever these plugins do, which now I'm going to show you what it is. All right. So the real EQ, I'm going to make this very quiet so it isn't so distracting, but you can see what's happening on here. This one allows for spatial, when it's in front of you, it sounds brighter and more clear because we're like, if you think that you're an owl, wherever your ears are pointed is what you're bringing in is clarity. If it's behind you, it sounds kind of wet and dull. So this real EQ thing allows that to mimic that. Does it seem like it's in front of you? Does it seem like it's behind you? And I programmed it to do that, which I can tell you about later. This stereo encoder allows it to hit third level, which means it has azimuth, elevation, roll, and width. All that means is in space. Is it above you, left, right? In this three-dimensional space, this allows that to be processed. It doesn't do anything else. It's just you load this in so that the system knows what it's doing, and you make sure it's on third, which is what it defaults to. And that's all you need to do for that one. Same thing for this, the binaural decoder is just, it's encoding left and right better. So I put that there. Scene encoder, this is the fun one. So this is like, if you watch this, the yaw is where things are around you on a horizontal plane on that axis, right? So if depending on the degrees, it's either all the way left, all the way right, or some mix of those, and then front and back. That's what yaw does. Pitch is up, down, and most people's headphones can't mimic though, so I don't usually mess with it. You can put a small variance there so it seems like it wobbles if you like. And roll does something else we'll talk about later if you need it. You don't think you need it. I just leave it on just because in case somebody has something really cool set of headphones, they'll get a different reaction. Deer Pro is just another way to do space, and it does it in a visual way, which may make it easier for you to understand. So that's why I like to load it. It also has some really cool things. So when I played the track a minute ago, it sounded echoey. That's coming from this reverb and reflections, right? Which you can turn on and off. You can make them stronger. It has about a bunch of all sorts of different things. So you can make it, so right now it says a medium recording hall. You can make it sound like King's Hall. You make it sound like it's in a church, whatever you want your voice to sound like, or this that it's coming from. You can do these individually. So you put it whatever you want, and then the strength of that. This is the high pass and low pass, which if you don't know what that is, don't worry about it an awful lot. I usually default to 120 and 10,000 just because it in the range, so it doesn't get too weird on stuff. Okay, but this thing, right? So this is Cartesian coordinates right now. We want polar components. So now I can say, you know what? I want this all to be all the way to the left. And I want it to seem like it's kind of, and now when I play that voice, the bells now sound like that. And then from here, it's just going to, it's showing you what you're recording over if there's a background track running. Down. And then from now it's just the bells. So I'm going to show you how it sounds. So you can leave this live, right? So right now the bells should sound, if you're using headphones. If you're on your computer, you will not be able to tell this. But on headphones, it becomes really clear that right now all the sound is coming off to my left. And right now it would sound like it's behind me, left, in front of me, right. So Deer VR is really good for that. Which I'm happy to send you files on this setup so you don't have to dig through a million different things, and this is all sort of pre-programmed. So I've already created it all. All right, so right now it's coming off to my right, which is cool. If I want to do something more cool, we're going to go delete that. So now if you are listening in headphones, the sound looks like it's doing this. It seems like it's going off to the right, behind me, to the left, in front of me. It seems like it's rotating around me. It follows the yaw. So why you may or may not want to do this, I'm going to see if I can show you. Just kill those for a second. Let me open a big project so you can see what I've done. Or why this may be helpful to you, or not helpful to you if it seems like too much.
This is really cool.
I know that I'm going through it kind of fast, but it's like if you have questions, stop me, or like come to another one and we'll go into it deeper and you can get through the whys, how to do it.
I just have one question. Is also where you add the shepherd tones, the tones go down from.
You can. And you just got to find the shepherd tone you want and layer it in and make it the length that you want. And you can definitely do that. You can also, with these, like, see all these tabs down here? See how many tracks this is? This is 24 different tracks layered that I've made do different things. And so say you want the shepherd tone like barely audible. In fact, you would kind of unconsciously audible. You would just drag that one down way down here like I've done with this one. And so it's there, but you hardly notice it, right? Because this seems like a lot, but with most hypnosis tracks, less is more. You don't want your conscious to pick up something weird is going on, right? You just want it to be things. So that's how I made it. For that. Listen to this track while driving, operating machinery, or doing. And so I made this hypnosis track, and it starts all subtle. Except there's little background stuff. For the use. I'm not going to make you listen to 40 minutes of this. I'm just going to jump into it, and it starts getting complicated up here. And so if you're listening to headphones right now, there's a perhaps sort of brook off behind me to my right. There's crickets moving all around me. There's a sound of some kind of tone. It seems like it's circling, but all of it is real subtle. So much that on speakers, you probably don't notice it. It just seems like one track. You would need headphones to check that.
Yeah, it's really rich.
It should become more immersive, right? You're like, oh, it feels like I'm in a space. Like if like there's dimension to whatever I'm listening to. And this is why I think spatial audio is really cool to use with your hypnosis tracks. There's a point in this when I'm like, I'm going to walk beside you, and my voice literally moves next to you, and you hear footsteps of me walking beside you. And then I disappear into their head and become all like hypnotic and monologued at some point. All that was thought out. And you see these like little lines. Most of these are connected to, some is due to volume. Some is due to the yaw, right? Where like I get to move exactly where I want, and then distance in or out. All that's just thought out, right? Like there's just tons of stuff, you know. Learning curve out the gate might seem like an awful lot, and it might, and you don't need to make it this complicated. I made this as a demo to what I'm telling you about. Like, look at what you can.
You
Couple layered
just did
tracks.
this as a demo. Wow, impressive.
Well, it's on my YouTube channel for people to enjoy, but it's like, this is what you can do. Like, I had the one that's like 84, and it's just like an insane like journey space. It's so freaking fun with like 15 minutes, but it's like ton of things happening, but not so much that you don't let it's like this, right? So this is what Reaper does, right? This allows you to do all these things, and every single one of these things that is on here has its own different programmed plugins and stuff. All right, so this one is just using Dear VR Pro. Show you whatever's live so it can show you what it's doing. So this one is on right now, and so as you listen to it, it shows you what that's doing. You can see it in your three-dimensional sort of polarized. This one's just rotating around in like a wave pattern, which if you go here, if I grab a hold of that, it'll show me what it's doing here. So this is just a sine wave shape, and this is the tempo and the strength and the phase. Like all I could show you how to do individually if you were working on a project and you wanted it to do something.
Further down around your mouth now.
So you can see it all. Oh, this is what that's doing. Is it going too fast? Is it going too slow? Do I not like it going back and forth? Do I want it to circle? Circle is a saw shape, either counterclockwise or clockwise. Sine is left, right, like in a sine wave, if you think of it that way. So it's all the way left, all the way right, and back and forth. Random it's just gonna just randomly change, like where it moves. So it's just sometimes that's fun depending on what you want it to do. Like crickets are pretty random, so make them move random. That's what I did. Stuff out. Any questions so far? I know this is a lot fast. I'm just kind of, you guys have questions about, or what would you like to use it for, and then we can dial it in for that stuff. That.
It's just super cool.
Okay, and that's Reaper, and it's all free. Every bit of Reaper is free. If it asks you to buy a license, just say I'm still thinking about it, because they stopped really kind of with it years ago. They still do updates and stuff, but they don't really care about money. So if you just tell them they're still evaluating, they don't care when you go to download. When every time you log in, it'll be like, do you want to buy a license? Just wait like force, and it'll be like, no, still evaluating. I've been using it forever. Nobody cares. So completely free. When you're done and you got whatever audio you want, it's all prettied up, and if it moves or if it doesn't or whatever, however you want to do it, you come to render project. You can name it. You choose. This is where you're telling it. This is what you're naming it. I always put a high sample rate, because if you start low, you can't go back. So I usually keep it 88, 200. Most things like YouTube and stuff are only going to sample it at, like, if you're lucky, 24,000, probably 16,000. So it'll just downgrade it from there, but at least you're starting with something good, which a lot means if you play with it later, you're getting this really rich field. And if instead of sharing on YouTube, you share it through like Dropbox or something directly to clients, they'll get the super high quality track, which is what I prefer, because if somebody's buying something from me, they get the best. If you're listening for on YouTube, it'll still sound good, but audio file will tell the difference. Almost nobody else will. I also keep the depth at 24. And then you just say render file, which I'm going to do now just to show you what it looks like. And then this thing comes up and it's going to show you what it's doing. And tell you how long. This is a big one. It says it's going to take about 4 minutes, right? This is a 40-minute track of a bunch of different layers. So 4 minutes is actually not that bad. If you're just doing like a music track or something that's like a few minutes long, this has already been done. The reason you want to watch this when it's done is if it hits red or on this graph, there's any red lines, that tells you when you listen to it, you're going to hear a pop or crackling or something. So you would stop it, you just cancel it, say no, or if it's already finished, that's fine. You'll just come back and tell it to make a new one and override the old one. You would just come over here to the master volume and then drop it down a little bit and then try it again. And on that graph that it was just showing you, it'll usually say 0.6 or 3. That's the decibels that was too much over. So you just drop it to -3 more, render it, and then all of everything would be nice and succinct and not sound poppy. So that's why that's good. All right. Once you have your Reaper track and that's done, if you're making like a video, like I said, you'd need a audio file or a video file. So let's say we were making this thing, drop the captions back off, and let's say we just brought in whatever we made from Reaper to do something like that. Import Reaper something mayonnaise. We'll do that one. So I just made this in Reaper. It has different components. When Reaper makes, it's going to be a singular track. So when you come and drop it in Capcut, this is what you get. But those of you who have headphones will hear that it's still moving in space because it's layered into one file that Reaper made spatially. Okay, but I can't put that on YouTube because it doesn't have any kind of imagery, right? It's not a video file. So that's when you take whatever you want, whatever picture you want, a picture of you, picture of the woods, whatever you want, make it match. That blue line says it's synced up to the exact length of the audio track. Drop it. Now it's a video audio file.
This could be the best song ever.
It's just going to be a static background image. Or you can make a moving image. You can go video something and shove it in here and make it play along with your music. Whatever you want to do. And when you're done, you would then export it as a video file. Remember 1080. You tell it to download, and then you'd have an MP4. MP3 is audio. MP4 is video audio. And you get an MP4 file. MP4. It would export, and you'd save it wherever you want. And here's my YouTube channel. All right, and then you just say create, upload video, select file, and then I made Cherry Wine by Hosier, the live file. Just click that, open it, and then do whatever all the rest that YouTube wants you to do. Tell you about it. And then it's loaded on your page, if that's the way you want to do it. That's super simple. So I use Capcut to take whatever audio I've played and mesh it with whatever imagery I want, and then save it as MP4 and then load it on the YouTube or whatever other social media thing you want to do. Right? It doesn't matter. And that's the progress of how I go about doing those things. So record on Zoom, or if you want video, record on Zoom or on your phone or whatever you want. Shove it in the CapCut. Tell it to transcript, do whatever editing you want, all pretty, things up, isolate voice. Or you're just talking into a microphone, then you'd have the audio file there. Same thing, do the transcript, do whatever editing you want, and then save it as just an audio file. If you then want to use Reaper let me turn this so you can just see me. Then you use Reaper for the layering to make things move in space or add background music or whatever you want. You can dial it in so it's subtle and so it lands the way you want, and certain tones happen when you want them to happen. And you create this really cool space, and then you save that as a new audio file that's been processed in Reaper. Shove back in the CapCut, add whatever imagery you want, videos, your face, brand stuff, whatever you want. You can have captions if you want, if it's going on social media, save that, and then export it to wherever you want, YouTube or Instagram or whatever thing you want to do. And that's most of the audio portion. The graphics and I usually mess with in Canva which I'm happy to show you guys whenever you want. Is there anything else you'd like me to show you today? This was sort of like, this is what it is, as fast as I could show you in an hour. But I'm more than happy to be like, oh, if you have a project and you're like, hey, I want to make this thing, I want to make a meditation soundtrack or whatever, I'm happy to do like a hands-on workshop where you share your screen and I tell you what to do or what I would do in that situation and tell you where to click and stuff. I'm happy to reverse this and give like hands-on how to do this. I've done this so much for so long. It's unconscious muscle memory. I just click. Somebody asked me for a music track, and in like 5 minutes, I have it all. I have all those steps done and posted on YouTube. I don't even think about it. So it's just a skill. After a couple times practicing, whatever parts you need of it, you'll just know. It's not that hard. The key is don't pay attention to the rest because it can become overwhelming. You only learn what you need to learn to do this thing, and then next time, if you need something else, you just bring that part in. What else? Questions?
Is there a specific place that you get like the babbling brook or the Tibetan bells, like those background sounds? Or do those come within, or
No,
you have to get
these
them
are
all
raw
from-
things that don't. A CapCut might have background music generically, that you could probably tell it to bring in. Just on Instagram, you can do like, hey, some music.
Right.
CapCut do that. Reaper doesn't give a crap. Reaper's like, we have plugins, bring your own stuff.
Okay.
There are places to get high quality sound bits. Which you're looking for something specific, I go to a bunch of different places depending on what I want. Or I go make it myself. I'm like, birds chirping, and there's birds outside right now. I'll go record it, bring it in, shove it into the file, like whatever.
Okay.
You go for a walk in the woods and record it. Like it doesn't matter the source. What I would recommend is most of you probably are using AI. If you're not already using AI, like Chat GPT or something, tell it what you want. Say, I need high quality sound bits about that have birds or Tibetan bells. And it'll be like, cool, try these places and click on those.
Cool.
And download them, try them out. You know, it's not what you want. So it's just a trial and error thing. For that.
Great. Thanks.
But once you have it, you shove it. If you want it to do something, you can shove it in Reaper. If you guys don't care about spatial audio at all, Reaper does cool stuff, but CapCut's enough. Just it in CapCut. It's just going to be in stereo. It'll be what that is. You'll hear the music or crickets or bells just alongside your voice, and then you can adjust the volumes of each so that it sounds one down overpowering if you don't want it to. You can do all that in CapCut. You don't need Reaper. But if you want it to move, if you want it to echo a cool way at a certain point, that's all Reaper, right? And so that EMF track that I made for the 40-minute hypnotic install one that I made to prove like space, do some cool stuff with space. Like things I say, and there's a bell right then, right? I move next to you when I say I'm moving next to you in space. So it's like a person that's conscious isn't paying attention. It's like, oh, cool, this is a real space. It just becomes a little more immersive. Regular hypnosis tracks on YouTube, and it's like, those are great. They can still do great stuff, right? So yeah, you want. I like, and I'm around a lot of audiophiles. They notice the difference. They're zonked out super quick the more you build the realism of the space that's being mimicked with headphones. The only thing is it has to be headphones. If they listen through speakers, it just seems like you just made a stereo track in CapCut. It won't mean anything to them, which is also, as long as it's high quality, is fine. But they miss the part without the headphones. And realize also that headphones are different. I have these, which are really nice and cool. They're different than my Google Buds when I make spatial music. I can both tell, but there's a different richness to each. So if you have different ones when you're done, just kind of each and see if there's any adjustment that you need. If you care that much, just realize that they won't sound the exact same through. As far as space, it'll sound the same, but the richness and the timbre and the reflections, they're processed slightly different. It may end up feeling a little tinny, in which case you'd have to drop something to make it good across many different types of headphones. But I wouldn't worry about it too much. If you make it for one, it's usually enough for the rest. Cheap, crappy headphones, like the $2, $3 ones at the gas station that you plug in your phone, they're gonna sound shitty because they're $3 headphones. So if you have a client that you're wanting them to listen with headphones with, say, get a decent pair. $20 pair is probably more than enough. But like, dollar pair is gonna sound like garbage. Just like, you got like one of those little teeny like desktops is gonna sound way different than if you have a stereo system. It's the same thought. Yeah. A lot, I know.
No, it's super though.
As far as like Canva, parts of stuff, I'm more than happy to do another one of these about that. I don't know how many of you were interested in that. But this was mostly about the audio and then saving it MP3, MP4 for whatever usage you want to do. Thoughts? What would you like with what I just showed you? What would you like to try next besides getting and trying them yourself? What would you like to try next?
For me, definitely the spatial effects.
Yeah, that's what I love about it. Which if you're not following my YouTube page, I have like 140 tracks there that are all like spatial. 3 teaching ones on how to use it. My hypnosis one. That's all on my YouTube page, which you're more than welcome to check out. Because if you get an idea from one of those and you want to know how to do that, I can show you very directly how to do that. Portion of the screen back up, just so if you're curious. This is me, reverse lobotomist. Mind shift right now. So feel free to check that out. Like I said, there's so much stuff on here. It's ridiculous. All about emotional and mental floss is what I've made. There's 3 videos in that one. One is like an hour-long thing. It was like a thing like I'd hear, but just about spatial music and why it's cool and useful, and the research and background that went into that. Then there's also an 8-minute track on just how to use it really fun. And then there's a 40-minute hypnosis track that I made that does include the progressive muscle relaxation. As much as us hypnotists hate that, when you're doing general recordings, you kind of time to get into trance and you can't calibrate it. So what else are you going to do? So, yes, there's the hypnosis track. This is the 8 minutes. This is how to have fun with it spatially. And then this is like a long discussion on and some cool demos on spatial music is in that one. And this is really fun. This entry video here, I made the graphics with Canva, and then I layered the sounds, and I merged what I came in with off of YouTube to create this like brand little like fun.
Nice.
And it's all moving in space, and it's just like I had a lot of fun with that. With your tones that you like. How you doing, Robert? You can do all that. That's that's Canva, Reaper. And then splice it in the Capcut to create for the YouTube export portion. That's like one of the things you can do with it if you like.
That's so cool.
It was fun. I had a lot of fun with that one.
Kind of looks like I don't know if you guys know about Smashing Pumpkins. Back in the day, they had a video. Which one? Moon with the moon. Steampunk like rocket moon.
That's what I was going with. It was like sort of Aztec guy, with the like they have where the guy looks like he's in a spaceship. The Mayan.
Yeah.
Riding a rocket because it was, I don't know. I had fun with it, but I made all the graphics portion of that in Canva, which if you guys don't know how to use that, I'll show you. It's really fun. Yeah. Want more? Feel free to reach out to me directly. I'm going to try to do a couple more of these week. So if you come up with a project and you want to download these apps, and we can just reverse screen share and you can show me what you're doing and I can help you speed up the process. Because the Reaper itself took me several months to like I've mastered. But I ended up with like 90% of that wasn't useful what I was trying to do. So I can remove all that fluff and just be like, this is what you need to do for that. And then you save it. And then anything you load is then just tweaks. It saves a ton of time. But spatial stuff for hypnosis, I think is missing piece. Some people use binaural beats or background stuff, but it's all just kind of like in raw stereo. I think playing with it a little bit in space will get some really cool results for you if you're interested.
Thank you very much for the great presentation. I highly enjoyed it.
No problem, York. Thank you guys for coming.
That's something unrelated, if you could hold on, like Yeah.
Yeah, I'm help, and I'm see you practice otherwise, which I think is
See
Wednesday
you.
at 1 is the
Bye-bye.
next one.
All right.